Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Wednesday. Today is February 21st, 2024. If you're watching this from another galaxy far, far away. 2024 in Earth years, to be exact. Who knows what year it is, right? While we at it, for real. But anyway, hope you're doing well. Hope that you are grateful for this hump day, the middle of the week, and things are looking up from here. I sure hope that for you, no matter what you're doing. I got some things on my mind, but I'm gonna just let the cards speak today because I feel like if I go down the rabbit hole, I may never come out and I'm taking you with me. So let's just see what we got today, okay? Two of Wands. This is someone surveying the land and making a plan of action in some definite direction, which is different from actions that have either previously been taken or are presently in effect. This is just somebody committing to a new direction in life and seeing their possibilities from a much more broad perspective. With the world card in there, the world card, okay? Well, the world, the globe in his hand, and a staff in the other. An elevated staff is what I like to draw attention to a lot with the Two of Wands. It's like an elevated mindset, so therefore that inspires an elevated approach or elevated passion, and that inspires an elevated approach, seeing the possibilities as far more endless and unlimited than previously perceived. Yeah. I can't help but notice like this, sometimes I do see this as like, it kind of almost looks like a tombstone. Not really, because clearly he's elevated on some roof. But this right here, just if you can get into it, just always kind of gives me memorial vibes. Let's say memorial. Sometimes, but we'll see if that has any relevance right now. Take it out and see what we're going. What's this plan? What's this new perspective or fresh passion, new direction, like the group? Let's see what we got. New direction. Wow. Then we got the Chariot card, so a new direction to power ahead, to power forward with the Queen of Wands. It's feeling like a reception of this new passion and reproducing it in a way that would forge a power ahead. And then with double, well, this is, I think this is more Cancer energy, but the will is what's strong here. Because the Queen of Wands is Leo vibes with the Sun card. I'm just saying all types of wrong stuff right now. Leo vibes, which is ruled by the sun. Cancer, ooh, Chariot card. If this is Cancer, which I do believe that it is, ruled by the moon. Interesting. And you know I don't be always drawing attention to signs and planets and all that all the time. So there's some reason why I'm saying that. But we got the sun and the moon and then him holding the earth up top. What's the synergy there? The light and the dark. Okay, how you seeing yourself as a force of, a manifested force of the elements is what I'm sensing here. Whereas the world, you know, like in this Two of Wands, it's like he's holding the world. It's almost small in his hands. And maybe perhaps us seeing ourselves more expansively within the world, having more of an impact on the world than what we've been previously conditioned to believe, and what has previously fueled our personal passions with a certain limited perspective, like this is all you are privy to, this is all you can do, this is what you should expect. The world is, we say it's a small world, but it actually feels humongous, like you could never touch every corner of it if you tried, but here he is holding it in his hand. So there's some impression, there's some more profound impression as the elements are expressing themselves through our physical being that we actually make on the progression of the globe, of universal order, maybe perhaps. Some forward movement here with the Chariot card, and a powerful one, especially with the Queen of Wands too. That's being just as much proactive, or I should say productive, as you are reproductive, but also proactive as you are reactive. And it's interesting, you know, that we got the Queen of Wands in the feminine aspect, but the Leo force, and then we got the Chariot card, which definitely gives a masculine aspect, but Cancer is a feminine sign. It's a feminine force. There's something here. Let me see what else we got. Knight of Cups. Some offer. Ooh, that was the Emperor that popped in and popped out. Could it be from the Emperor? What's that? I just want to see. Strength card. Wanting to manipulate the strength of that feminine force, the balance of it all. Oh, my goodness. Wheel of Fortune flew all the way across the room. And I'm not going to lie, like it spinned around, but it definitely landed in the reverse. So maybe somebody wanted to turn back time, which we know has kind of been, stop it altogether even. Let me see what else we got. It's so intriguing that I have to keep it. Normally I wouldn't even keep cards that fell on the floor, but when you got the Wheel of Fortune, you just kind of got to see how it speaks, especially that way. I'm getting a sense that there's an interference that wants to cause confusion for the purposes of ensuing chaos that would make an impact on destiny. And this is with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like it's universal destiny. The way in which creation is on track to evolve naturally. And confusion, and even with the Queen of Wands, who's like a warrior queen, and the Chariot card, who obviously is a warrior also, masculine, feminine, wanted to cause some disruption and chaos where they would be a great synergy to move ahead together in a more expanded perspective or view. Here's this energy here, which is small, honestly speaking. A Knight of Cups is small in comparison. If this is the influence that they wish to project, it's probably low impact, but highly motivated though. Let me see what's on the other side of this Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, High Priestess. Yeah, and see how even the cards, like I'm not having a lot of control in my cards today with my shuffling. It wants to, but ain't no way. And the Knight of Cups is no match for the High Priestess on their best day, And let's not forget, I'm given the grace of turning this Wheel of Fortune upside down, but that is not absolute. That's just how it was perceived to have landed on the floor when I went to pick it up. But in truth, it's destined to be upright, because you can't stop universal order. You just can't. Even as much as it's been seemingly delayed, even that has been purposeful for certain developments to occur to catch up, even from perhaps even the evolution between woman and man, as it is here for the feminine to accept more of her creative force with grace, and the masculine to accept more of his reproductive force with grace. We're talking about the moon. It's almost like their roles are kind of flip-flopped here. And I feel like that's a projection of acceptance of duality and the necessity of it, as a matter of fact, to even push this wheel forward. Like, that's what's been pending. That's what the anticipation has been, for there to be an acceptance of self as whole, and also of the other as whole and complete as they are as well. Not to be finessed by what? Let's see. What's before this? Jeez. What's before this Knight? Where's the Knight coming from? Yeah, by this struggle. Oh, look at this. Struggle and boundedness. Like, this is spiritual imprisonment and pressure. This is the feminine energy. This is the masculine energy. This is where, this is the cup that this Knight of Cups wants the universe to continue to drink. That the feminine is insecure, untrustworthy of her own self, particularly her decision making with sword energy. That the masculine bears the brunt of the world on their shoulders, you know, and has a responsibility to balance so many pressures, you know, that are ultimately overloading his path to a certain pure passion, let's say. So many interferences, so many, what are these wands? It's like almost too much passion, too much, I don't know what that is. One thing for sure is the end of it, but this is what, instead of it coming to a culmination, there's a persistence and insistence to want to continue. And it stopped dead in its tracks with the High Priestess, which, let's see what's on the other side of the High Priestess. And this is spiritual alignment, divine devotion, abstinence, in this case, abstaining from being seduced by the old world, and therefore not being infected with the spiritually transmitted diseases, as i.e. here, that would impact this spirit of sanctification here. And we're not talking religiously. We're talking about a sovereign spirit unto itself and the source that it submits to, if any. You know, that's all personal choice, but to cut out the middleman, so to speak, which would be these oppositional impressions that forge a wedge between reaching a state of supremacy and your own sovereignty. Because if you can't really aspire to that or even conceive of it, no matter what your religion may or may not be, I feel it's virtually impossible to really get to God or any supreme source. You know, it's like if you can't look in the mirror and see yourself in any supreme sense, then how can you perceive of an energy, an entity, a force beyond that, truly? And even if you perceive it, like how do you conceive of it, which I believe is our purpose here as human beings, at the very least, to be more or less like a surrogate of source, an expression of that ethereal essence, if you choose to be. Again, everything by choice. But I'm really speaking more especially in terms of those that proclaim a certain conception or even connection to a God or God or universe or almighty, most high, whatever, however it is that you tag it, I feel like it can only really be by way of your own personal self-awareness of that reflection first. That's like the first stop. Call me crazy, I don't know, but I mean, and trust me, I've done it all, the other way for sure, but I've always fallen short to even truly have been able to reverence God in the unlimited way that would be most ideal, in the supreme way that would be most ideal, because in that, let's see, like that expansive expression, which is, I mean, that's not even the best word to use, but I don't even think there is a word, quite honestly, when you consider how great the concept of God is, especially if you're conditioned a certain way, and how small, which is probably the energy here, the new experience. Yeah, okay. And I said, what did I say? Memorial, right? How small your reflection is in that ideal, just the ideal. God having no face and no real true essence. Even Jesus, the image of Jesus being questionable, right? Greatly questionable. And that was our best shot, even and I feel like a lot of times, especially religiously speaking, those that ascribe to that doctrine have fallen short of even seeing themselves in that reflection, let alone the concept of God itself. So it's like Jesus being the reflection of source and being our direct reflection in the earth, conceptually speaking, is still not fully grasped from my experience as a Baptist, a born and bred Baptist Christian girl, that there was always a great void between myself and the grace of God, no matter how I was impressed one way or the other, to believe that void didn't exist when I was, because that wasn't always the case. Obviously, there was doctrine that supported that void should exist, but I guess that's the question, right? And for me, in my pilgrimage to my own personal awareness, that's been the point of it all. This void between ourselves and source is where these impurities fester and grow and ultimately even become cancerous. When we believe that there is not just a difference, but a deference even between ourselves and source, it leaves room for error. And does delay destiny a certain type of way, our own personal destiny, and then of course the collective creative consciousness from ascending to a certain audacity of awareness and passion, which, as I said from the beginning, then promotes the action, or the passion precedes the actions that we take, the lives that we live, the things that we do to drive that force forward. simply put, like when you don't believe that you're worthy of certain passions to embody them or express them, you're more inhibited and reluctant. Is reluctant the word I want to use? I don't know if it's reluctant, but it's more like you're more inhibited to fully express the creativity that you embody. The power, there it is, because what is wand energy but power? It's not just, yeah, and so this is that disparity here, because it's like, here is feminine with no power, here is masculine with almost too much power, and it's overbearing. Here is the balance, here in the middle. And the interference would be to delay that balance, which is ultimately the thing that is pushing creation forward. Awareness and acceptance, void of separation. And then I said like how much bigger you are in the earth than what you've been conditioned to know and feel. And even, you know, your physical expression of the elements themselves, like really connecting to that truth in a way that we've never been privy, not on this timeline, to believe, to even conceive, let alone to believe. Let's see, what's this? Ooh. Two of Swords. 10 of Swords. Look at this, the pressure again. Another ending on the other side. And the Tower. Yeah, it's like, it's a lot of outside interference right now that is really focused on bringing an ending, a dramatic ending. This is like throwing that balance literally all out of whack, like burning down any progression that has taken place and completely obliterating it. It's not going to happen, but this is, and it's on the outside of the structure for a reason, because that's where it belongs. Like, it doesn't have a place in the organization of creation anymore. Look at that, Strength again, and the Ace of Pentacles. Exactly. 10 of Cups, which really needs no further explanation. Ooh, Empress, yes, come through, honey. This deal is so sealed, it don't make no sense. Let's get two more. still with the intense attack, motivation for attack, and aggression, and like really trying to turn that wheel backwards with everything in their might. Trying to stop the fertility of the Empress. Ooh, trying to abort her seeds. Oh my God. Assassinate her legacy. Let's see what's on the other side of the Knight of Swords. Empty expectations. It's not gonna happen. Because first of all, the will, there's destiny in the midst of this all. Let's just call it what it is. The only reason why it truly is upside down, I feel, is for the inflection of the ambitions that persist, but certainly not for the success of them. It's not happening. It's just not. Like the prophecy is already so, and the seeds have already been sown even now to fulfill the prophecy. With the Empress card here, like, look, with the 10 of Cups, it's like it's already so. It's already happened. It's literally like fighting a case that's already been ruled upon. Trying to change the narrative of a story that's already been told. That's what this energy is here. And there's nothing to be expected to come of that, but unfulfilled ambitions. Ooh, which leads me back to the Two of Wands in a different way now. Someone that's trying to, the Two of Wands in this energy now is giving something different. It's someone that is trying to make an impression upon the world in a way that they really just don't have any jurisdiction to do so. Trying to override the power force that already persists to dominate, evolution as it is. But here, remember I said like something about this stone always gives me like tombstone vibes. Like it was already dead before it started. This plan, this action, this ambition, to take over the world. It's been overruled and overridden by the powers that be. Now finding their rightful place back into position. This is almost as like a guardian of sorts. And this is as I said, like a surrogate. The queen being the most creative one in the court. and the Chariot being protective of that creativity and the force that advances it forward. As I said, the Knight of Cups, that's a small impact. Against giants. Yeah, trying to turn back the hands of time to recreate these generational cycles of imbalance, codependency. That would be this: the damsel in distress, the knight in shining armor that really is, that ain't so shiny, right? That got a whole bunch of baggage in tow, even as he's coming to so-called save you. And then you both end up falling out the tower and sabotaging one another or betraying one another in some way. Or having been betrayed by the circumstances as they were set up in the first place. Like it was almost a setup to fail. We reversed the I don't know, is it a reversal? Maybe so, maybe reversing the effects of those cycles and advancing, like jumping timelines is what I'm feeling. Like we are jumping ahead. That's why it's like, where are you giving to? Where are you going? Because the forge ahead is so advanced now that the impacts that are even implied or tried they're mismatched. Still trying to give to a feminine energy that's insecure and doesn't know their own power, a masculine energy that feels overworn or that feels the pressure of society on his shoulder without any support it's like that. Those energies are not that anymore. They've advanced. They've moved ahead. They wouldn't drink of a cup of the Knight of Cups. They wouldn't drink of that anymore. They wouldn't drink of the substance that would continue to keep this will still, or appearingly so, let alone for it to be reversed, going backwards, cycling back into this imbalance. Like it's not that anymore. There is a growing awareness of supreme self now on both sides, and a recognition of that one to another, and that mirror effect, which is like once that's taken place, when feminine can see the supremacy in masculine as she sees in herself, and vice versa, once again that cuts out that middleman, that valley void energy where impurities can fester. You're only seeing the true expression of yourself in that reflection. And then that gets to be reflected on a larger scale, on a larger, as you see God in self, then you see God as source. You start to see that that perspective becomes alive all around you, all about you, and then there's absolutely no there's no doubt in what must exist beyond. But for so long, the reflection, the projection even has been this. You can't see God in that. You can't see God in that. You can't see self in God. You can't see God in self. You may be grasping for straws amidst the pressure for some hope of something more, but it's not a true perspective. It's not what would truly promote or provoke pure passion. You'd be doing things out of this energy as we have been. But yeah, those days are over. Yeah, this is the inner conflict. This is what we're supposed to be subscribing to. Amongst ourselves, again, as I said, and then internally so. Always fighting to prove ourselves to ourselves because there's no evidence of our excellence otherwise. It was all diluted and distorted. And these adverse projections. Yeah, it's a funny way to end this message because it doesn't feel, the cards don't necessarily give the finality of what's being presented here. To even end on this note it can be problematic, I would say, but it's like time will tell and all will be revealed. And that's one thing for sure, as you can't fight against destiny, you certainly can't eliminate the truth. It will always prevail, so. With that being said, I'm gonna leave it there. This wants to slide so bad to the 9 of Cups. Yeah, somebody would be more well satisfied to have this be the reoccurring outcome yet again, but as I said, it's an unrequited passion on the horizon for those that continue to fight destiny. And what is given is with the Knight of Cups and Wheel of Fortune, it's almost given like someone trying to rewrite history, you know, with the High Priestess here too. That's why I'm saying there's something about time that is curious here. trying to change a projected outcome, perhaps what's already been conceived at this point, with false projections. But the thing they didn't account for is the Supreme Self revealing itself. Thing that wasn't, let's say not they, but that wasn't accounted for is the unveiling of the Supreme Self, even unto self. How about that? Masculine or feminine. We weren't supposed to see how great we were, how great we are. As long as we could be kept from that reality, we could be disconnected from the truth. And therefore, time could continue to recycle itself and the still experiences thereof. But the moment that veil was lifted, and as it continues to be a revelation to more and more day by day, the further this reality gets pushed out of focus and becomes virtually becomes a memory, if that, a distant one at that. To the point where eventually there will be no remembrance. Remember, I said a memorial of anything but what is verifiable truth now. There won't be any space for any illusion to live, to survive, let alone to thrive. It'll be like you were always as powerful, as creative, as courageous, as victorious as you are now. And then that's the passion that gets to be produced and reproduced from, until eventually, or at least for a faithful few, or for those that choose it and are chosen of it, can only bear seeds from that self-awareness. You can't give life to anything else but that vitality, if that makes sense. That's how the world gets to evolve. And nobody's going to stop that. They may get to live in a world of that creation for themselves until they choose not to otherwise. But they won't stop what has been ordained for those that have been named to champion it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.